Fake HOA called him too black for this neighborhood. He ran rescue ops across the state. Karen stood on her immaculate porch, her arms crossed, eyes locked on the new guy across the street. Pineview Estates was her domain, and as HOA president, she'd made it her mission to keep it perfect. The man unloading boxes from a beat-up pickup truck didn't fit her vision. Black, mid-30s, wearing a hoodie and sneakers, he moved with a quiet confidence that irked her. Who does he think he is, she thought, already drafting a mental list of violations. His name was Jamal, but Karen didn't bother to learn it. She saw the late-night drives, the duffel bags he carried, and jumped to conclusions. Too black for this neighborhood, she whispered to her friend Linda over coffee, her voice dripping with disdain. Probably up to no good. Linda nodded, eager to please. By noon, Karen's post was up on the Pineview Estates Facebook group. New resident at 112 Oak Drive. Suspicious behavior. Doesn't belong here. Thoughts? The comments poured in. He's trouble. Check his record. Call the cops. Karen smiled, savoring her influence. Jamal, oblivious to the brewing storm, was used to being underestimated. For a decade, he'd led rescue operations across the state, pulling people from floods, fires, and collapsed buildings. Just 2 months ago, he'd coordinated a team that saved 47 people during a historic flood, working 72 hours straight. The governor had called him the backbone of our state's courage. But Jamal didn't wear his medals. Pineview was supposed to be a quiet retreat, a place to recharge. He hadn't counted on Karen. Her crusade intensified. She reported Jamal to the police for loitering after seeing him jog at dusk. When officers arrived, Jamal showed his ID and explained he was a rescue ops leader. They left, unimpressed by Karen's claims, but she wasn't fazed. She whispered rumors at yoga class, hinted at gang ties during book club. He's not one of us, she told anyone who'd listen. The neighborhood split. Some bought her narrative, others stayed silent, unsure. The tipping point came at the Pineview Summer Barbecue, a sunny event with checkered tablecloths and kids chasing balloons. Karen, armed with her usual clipboard, spotted Jamal by the grill, chatting with a neighbor. His hoodie was gone, replaced by a jacket with State Rescue Operations stitched on it. But Karen saw only a target. She strode over, her voice cutting through the chatter. "You don't belong here," she shouted, pointing at Jamal. "Take your trouble somewhere else." The crowd froze. Jamal turned, his face calm but eyes sharp. "Ma'am, I'm just eating a burger," he said evenly. Karen, fueled by her own echo chamber, wasn't having it. "You're a thug," she spat, loud enough for kids to stop playing. "I'm calling the police." She dialed 911, reporting a threatening individual at the event. Gasps rippled through the crowd as phones came out, recording. 2 squad cars screeched into the park, sirens blaring. Karen stood smugly as officers approached Jamal, but the mood shifted when a woman in the crowd shouted, "That's the flood hero." She held up her phone, showing a news clip of Jamal directing rescue boats, his face grim but determined. The headline read, "State hero saves dozens." Whispers turned to shouts. "He's a hero?" She called him a thug? The lead officer recognized Jamal from a joint training. "Mr. Carter?" he asked, voice respectful. Jamal nodded. The officer turned to Karen, his tone icy. "You've got this all wrong, ma'am." The crowd erupted, some booing Karen, others cheering Jamal. News vans arrived, cameras rolling. Karen's world began to collapse as the truth went viral. Karen's smugness evaporated as the officer's words sank in. "You've got this all wrong." The crowd's boos grew deafening, a wave of anger crashing over her. Phones captured every moment. Her flushed face, Jamal's steady gaze, the officer stepping back with apologetic nods to him. A reporter shoved a microphone toward Karen. "Why did you call a state hero a thug?" she demanded. Karen's mouth opened, but no words came. Her clipboard, her shield, lay forgotten on the grass. Jamal stood tall, his rescue ops jacket catching the sunlight. He didn't speak, didn't need to. The crowd was doing it for him. "She's a racist," someone shouted. "Apologize," another demanded. The news clip of Jamal's flood rescue played on a loop across phones. His name now a hashtag, Shasher Jamal Carter Hero. By dusk, the video of Karen's outburst had millions of views. Posts calling her Pineview's Karen, trending with venomous memes. The neighbors who'd echoed her rumors shrank into the background, their silence damning. Karen stumbled through the crowd, eyes stinging, as a teenage girl held up a sign, "Heroes belong here." The reporter followed, relentless. Was it his race? His clothes? Karen mumbled, "I just thought he was trouble." But the words sounded hollow, even to her. The crowd's jeers drowned her out, and she fled to her car, the weight of her actions suffocating. At home, Karen locked herself in, curtains shut, phone buzzing with venom. The HOA board's group chat was ablaze. "Step down, Karen," her best friend Linda texted. "You went too far." On X, she was a villain. Posts dissected her Facebook rants, her too black comment now infamous. A viral thread read, "This is what prejudice looks like, slandering a man who saves lives." Karen sobbed, not just from the hate, but from the truth she couldn't dodge. She'd seen Jamal's skin, his hoodie, and woven a lie that fit her biases. Sleep eluded her. She replayed the barbecue, her shrill voice, Jamal's calm, the crowd's shift from shock to fury. Why hadn't she asked who he was? Why had she assumed the worst? The mirror of her actions was merciless, reflecting a woman she didn't recognize. Karma wasn't just the public's wrath, it was this gut-wrenching clarity. The next day, the HOA board convened an emergency meeting. Karen, still president for now, faced a room of stony faces. Mr. Nguyen, a quiet retiree, spoke first. "You shamed our community. You owe Jamal more than an apology." Others agreed, some holding signs. "Justice for Jamal." Karen's instinct was to fight, to deflect, but shame silenced her. I was wrong," she whispered, voice cracking. "I judged him by lies I told myself." The room stayed quiet, unimpressed. Words weren't enough. Jamal, meanwhile, shunned the spotlight. He declined interviews, redirected gift baskets to flood victims, and kept working, training rescue teams, planning for the next disaster. But Pineview wouldn't let him fade. A petition to honor him at the town hall gained thousands of signatures. Kids drew posters of him in his rescue gear, calling him Captain Carter. Jamal felt the love but carried it lightly. His focus was the next life to save, not the applause. Karen's fall was swift. The HOA board ousted her as president, effective immediately. Neighbors shunned her, their whispers cutting deeper than shouts. But the real punishment was internal, the gnawing guilt of having vilified a man who risked everything for others. She couldn't unsee Jamal's face, the quiet strength in his eyes as she tried to destroy him. She couldn't unhear the crowd's rage, the officer's rebuke. Her prejudice had built a cage, and now she was trapped inside, staring at the wreckage of her own making. Karen hid in her house for days, the silence louder than the crowd's fury. Her reflection in the mirror was a stranger, someone who'd used her power to harm, driven by prejudice she'd never questioned. Jamal's quiet resilience haunted her, a stark contrast to her own venom. She wanted to understand that strength, to claw her way out of the hole she'd dug. One rainy evening, Karen gathered her courage and walked to Jamal's door. Her knock was timid, her heart pounding. When he answered, his eyes were wary but not hostile. "I need to say something," she stammered. Jamal nodded, letting her in. His living room was simple, a photo of his rescue team on the wall, their faces diverse and determined. Karen's voice broke as she spoke. "I was wrong. I judged you by your skin, not your soul. I'm so sorry." Jamal listened, his silence heavy but open. "Why me?" he asked, not accusing, just curious. Karen faltered, then admitted, "I saw what I wanted to see. Fear, difference. I was blind." Jamal leaned back, his voice steady. "I've faced worse than you, but you didn't just hurt me. You hurt what I stand for." He spoke of the flood, the lives he'd saved, the ones he'd lost. "It's not about applause. It's about showing up." Karen left, not forgiven, but enlightened. She started small, writing a public apology in the Pineview newsletter, volunteering at a disaster relief center Jamal supported. She listened to neighbors she'd once dismissed, their stories chipping away at her old biases. Some forgave her, others didn't. She accepted both. Learning humility was a marathon, not a sprint. At the town hall, Pineview honored Jamal. He stood on stage, reluctant but gracious, as the mayor recounted his flood rescue. The crowd roared, Karen in the back, eyes wet, clapping fiercely. She'd helped plan the event anonymously, a quiet amends. Jamal met her gaze and nodded, a gesture that felt like a lifeline. The viral storm passed, but Pineview changed. Neighbors greeted Jamal warmly. Kids trailed him with questions about rescues. Karen, no longer HOA president, found peace in being ordinary. She'd lost her pedestal but gained perspective, a heart that saw people, not stereotypes. Jamal kept serving, training new rescuers, his jacket a symbol of duty, not division. He mentored Pineview teens, teaching them courage and compassion. One day, Karen left a handwritten note on his porch. "Thank you for showing me what honor looks like." Jamal read it, a faint smile breaking through. He didn't need her thanks, but he valued her effort. Months later, Karen planted a community garden, inviting Jamal to the opening. He came, shaking her hand, their past not erased but no longer a wall. "Nice work," he said, gesturing to the flowers. Karen smiled, her voice soft, "Trying to grow something better." It wasn't absolution, but it was progress. Karma had shattered Karen, but it also rebuilt her. She'd never matched Jamal's heroism, but she could honor it with kindness, gratitude, and a vow to see others clearly. Pineview wasn't perfect, but it was learning, united by a man who saved lives and a woman who learned to save herself from hate. The end.